and sisters in Islam, we would like to appreciate and give thanks to all of you for attending our event. Alhamdulillah, for having an opportunity to gather and to study Islam. So now, Islamic Affiliation of Muslim Students, Student Association for Islamic Affairs, Our Lady of Fatima Muslim Students Association, and Markaz Dar-Attazkiyah brings you from here to heart by Brother Abu Mussab Wajdi Akkari. So now, alhamdulillah, we have our visitor from Mujaddidat Center, who used to be a regular lecturer from Mujaddidat Center, and one of our beloved online lecturers. So alhamdulillah, we have Brother Abu Mussab as our visitor, and to give our lecture from here to heart, let us now welcome Brother Abu Mussab Wajdi Akkari. وليتفضل يا شيخ.
Assalamu alaikum. Are you asleep already? Later, inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام الأتمان الأكملان على خير خلق الله أجمعين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أبعد. We praise Allah abundantly as He deserves the praise, and we ask Allah to exalt and mention, grant peace, and send the salutations and His blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon his companions, his wives, and all those who follow them on the path of righteousness until the day of recompense. Brothers and sisters in Islam, the decree of Allah in our lives is something amazing. Let me just give you a brief background on what's going on. You know, in the use of smartphones nowadays, you have this autocorrect, where you write a word and then the phone decides to correct it on your behalf. And sometimes you leave out certain letters. So the title of the lecture, which I mistakenly sent, is supposed to be From the Heart to the Heart. But while I guess in a rush while using the phone, I used the swipe feature, so instead of writing heart, I wrote here. And then I thought of it, I said, you know what, that still makes sense. You know, we can modify linguistically, there may be some issues, but the meaning is the same. But it's from a different angle now, which is, you know, hearing something that goes to the heart. Because very often we hear from one ear and it goes out the other ear. It doesn't go to the heart. So even though that was not the initial title, we will still use it and try to adjust and modify the topic according to the title, so that we will not change the title. And when we speak about the matters of hearing and the matters of the heart, we find that Allah Azza wa Jalla has divided the human beings into those who cannot hear. There are people who are deaf. It's a physical, basically sickness or physical inability or disability. And there are those who can hear, however, it does not reach the heart. And there are those who can hear and it reaches their heart. And basically, each one of us here is one of these three. I'm guessing there's no one from the first category, otherwise you wouldn't be here right now, or I would be using sign language. But the fact that I'm speaking and you're understanding, we already excluded the category of people who are deaf. We remain to be in one of the two other categories, which is those who hear, but the hearing does not reach the heart. And then, or the other and the last category is those who they hear and the hearing reaches the heart. And really that is the fine line between the righteous and the wicked, between the good and the bad. And if one of us wanted to know where he stands before Allah, then one has to look at how often do we hear, but we don't do anything about it. And we can all do our own self-evaluation. You don't have to evaluate me, I know my sorry self. And I will not evaluate you either, because everybody knows him or herself. But really that's what it boils down to. All the other gimmicks and all the other, Hollywood-related issues will bring absolutely no benefit when it boils down to where we stand before Allah. Because human beings have two faces, two images. One which is apparent to the people, and one which only Allah knows about. Right? يَعْلَمُ خَائِنَةَ الْأَعْيُنِ وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورُ. Allah knows the treachery of the eye and what the chest conceal. Allah knows what no one else knows. And what only some of the malaika know who are commanded to write down the deeds. But even the issues of the internal, in terms of thought process, this is only known to Allah Azza wa Jalla. That's one. And then there's what the people know, which is what they see. And in Islam, we judge the people by what is apparent. This is part of our religion. That the outwardly is a sign, an indication to the inwardly. There's a relationship between the two. The evidence for that is the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, wherein he said, أَلَا وَإِنَّ فِي الْجَسَدِ مُضْغَةً إِذَا صَلَحَتْ صَلَحَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ وَإِذَا فَسَدَتْ فَسَدَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ أَلَا وَهِيَ الْقَلْبُ. Verily in this human body of ours, there's a morsel, there's a piece of flesh. If it is sound, if it is healthy, if it is good, then al-jasad, the whole body, and whatever covers it, will be also correct and sound and healthy. And if it is corrupt, then the rest of the body will also be corrupt. And that is the heart. That hadith shows a relationship between the inwardly and the outwardly. So if someone claims to be righteous inwardly, but outwardly they don't display righteousness, we cannot believe. We cannot believe. But can someone display righteousness outwardly and be wicked inwardly? Yes. And that we cannot judge. That the other people do not know. Who knows about that? Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah Azza wa Jalla. And this is where we have to really be worried and extra cautious. Because Yawm al-Qiyamah is the day in which all of these matters will become public. They will be publicized. And you seek Allah's refuge from the exposure and the humiliation of Yawm al-Qiyamah. On the day of judgment, everything will be out. Nowadays, we can hide, we can conceal, we can pretend, we can do whatever. You may be slick and smart and know how to get by. But on Yawm al-Qiyamah, there's a whole other standards and a whole other set of rules. The only way we can succeed then is if we fix it today. If we fix it today. Now, in regards to the issue of the hearing, again to stick to the title of the lecture, we have some ayat, I believe, in the beginning of Surah Al-Anfal, where Allah Azza wa Jalla addressed the believers. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, ati'u Allah wa Rasul. O you who have believed, obey Allah and the Messenger, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ قَالُوا سَمِعْنَا وَهُمْ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ. And do not be like those who say we hear, but they really hear not. Do not be like those who say we hear, but in actuality, they don't hear. What does that mean? We can give any example we can relate to. Bring your own child. Your child is playing with something that you do not want him to play with. He's playing with water. And you say, stop playing with water. And the child is looking at you and they're still dipping their hand in that bucket. Did they hear you? Yes or no? Yes. Yes and no. Yes, they heard you what? They heard words. They heard words. and their brain was able to interpret the voice, the sound, based on the words that you used in whatever language, to understand that you want them to stop. However, they continued to play with the water after you told them to stop. Did they really hear? No. They heard the hearing of the one whose information is understood and interpreted, and that's it. When it comes to application or the materialization of this speech, then they do not have this feature. And this is the example that Allah Azza wa Jalla was referring to in this ayah. Don't be like those who say we hear, قالوا سمعنا, we hear, وهم لا يسمعون, but they really don't hear. Who? Many. From among the disbelievers of Quraysh, and from among the munafiqeen, among the Muslims, the hypocrites, and the list goes on. People who heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam giving them da'wah, yet they would reject the da'wah. Or he would give them advice, they would reject the advice. The very concerning part is the next ayah. That ayah is already a warning for all of us. It's a warning for all of us. Don't be like those people. One of us may be sitting here and he's one of those people. We may be among those who hear, but really do not hear. That is already a disaster. But it actually gets more scary. For the following ayah, when Allah described who the worst people on earth are, not even people, the worst creatures. إِنَّ شَرَّ الدَّوَابِ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الصُّمُّ الْبُكْمُ الَّذِينَ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. The worst creatures in the sight of Allah. Dawab from dabba. This is dabba. Anything which walks and stomps the ground is a dabba. Dabba. Whether it is a human being or otherwise. Often it is referred to for animals. Dawab is often used to refer to animals. But when used in the general, generic sense, it includes anything which walks the earth, including human beings. So in this ayah, it includes both. In fact, it is referring to both. In fact, it is referring to humans. Because animals don't have this problem. They don't have to hear and obey. They are already in obedience to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Every single animal on earth is in complete submission to Allah. And in spite of that, they don't have a recompense. They don't have Yawm al-Qiyamah in the sense that they have to go enter Jannah or Jahannam. Their issues will be sorted out because of the justice of Allah. So that the goat which had a horn and it hit the other one without, they will take their rights from each other on Yawm al-Qiyamah, then everything will become turaba. Therefore, وَيَقُولُ الْكَافِرُ يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ تُرَابًا. The kafir will wish he were dust, because he will see the animals disintegrate into dust, and then there will be no accountability. You say, I wish I was like that. Because if you're like that, you don't have to worry about Jannah or Jahannam. إِنَّ شَرَّ الدَّوَابِ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. The worst of creatures in the sight of Allah, عِنْدَ اللَّهِ, with Allah, are الصُّمُّ الْبُكْمُ. Those who are deaf and those who are mute. الَّذِينَ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ, and those who understand not. And this is describing those who say, we hear, but in actuality they don't hear. So if Allah Azza wa Jalla were to say about any one of us that these are the worst creatures with Allah, then what's there to look forward to? What is there to look forward to? No one will look forward to death, and no one will look forward to Yawm al-Qiyamah. There's nothing to look forward to because in the sight of Allah we are among the worst of creatures. وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Then Allah said about the condition, وَلَوْ عَلِمَ اللَّهُ فِيهِمْ خَيْرًا لَأَسْمَعَهُمْ. Allah Azza wa Jalla already knew that there is no goodness in these people. There's no goodness in them. That's why He did not let them hear. وَلَوْ أَسْمَعَهُمْ لَتَوَلَّوْا وَهُمْ مُعْرِضُونَ. And had He allowed them to hear, they would have turned away while they are in the state of being repelled by the da'wah. Then Allah Azza wa Jalla said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله ورسوله إذا دعاكم وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم. All you have believed, respond to Allah and His Messenger when they invite you to that which will give you life. Which means in the Quran and the Sunnah there is life. In these ayat, my brothers and sisters, we can understand our condition today with Allah on an individual level. Don't worry about the ummah now. And when I say don't worry about the ummah, we're not saying become unconcerned about the ummah. It's our nation. The nation of Muslims, of course, that is the top priority. But really, before we worry elsewhere, we have to worry at home. We have to worry on an individual level first. These ayat and many, many others in the Book of Allah bring to our attention something which we tend to become forgetful of with the passage of time. When you start practicing, whether you are born Muslim, who goes through phases, or Bani Islam, someone who came to Islam from Christianity, you go through phases. And these phases are not one straight, consistent line. There are many ups and downs. It's normal, it's natural. There are ups and downs in Iman, in righteousness, in commitment, in adherence, in obedience, and so on and so forth. You go through this roller coaster in your life and journey to the life to come. And very often in the process, with the passage of time, we become heedless and neglectful of some of these issues which are meant to overtake the heart. And this is the main target of Iblis. He doesn't waste his time much with the limbs and the things which he can control for a short period of time. Because he knows that if you were to do istighfar or tawbah, or you do some righteous deeds, that the good will erase the bad. إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. The good deeds will erase the bad deeds. Shaitan is aware of that. Iblis is aware of that. He goes for the heart. When he captures the heart, he doesn't have to do a lot of work afterwards. Keeping in mind that he's not lazy at all. It's not like he does it in order to rest. There's no resting for the shayateen. Human beings rest. The shaitan has been working 24 hours, 7 days a week, from the time he was expelled from Jannah. Him and his progeny, all of his children, because according to the authentic hadith, Iblis is Abu Shayateen, he is the father of the Shayateen. All the other Shayateen, the devils, are the children of Iblis, Satan, their father. And they have non-stop work around the clock to make sure that we Muslims go to hell before anyone else. Before anyone else. Because everybody else is pretty much gone by the neck. You know, once you fall into shirk, khalas, game over. Once you're worshipping some idol, some statue, some other god with Allah, game over. There's no time to waste with these people. They only indulge more in their deviance. Who does he want to bring as a main target? Muslims. Because the other ones already he got. Followers, they are adherents and strict followers of Iblis, who comes in different shapes and forms, in different religions, in different names, in different idols, in different statues, different festivals. All of these are from the shayateen. Any celebration which is un-Islamic is from the shayateen, even if it is quote-unquote an Islamic celebration. Even if it's a so-called Islamic celebration, if it is not from the Sunnah of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is from Iblis and his children. And we have to be careful now, because this is how he works. And Allah told us, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. Verily Iblis, Shaitan, is an enemy to you, so take him as an enemy. How do you deal with your enemy? Do you ever invite your enemy over to your house and drink some tea and bring some mangoes, and bring him pepper your enemy, and then say, okay, bye now, kill me tomorrow, I'm looking forward to it. Unless you're a lunatic, maybe. If you're a regular human being and you know there's an enemy, you will close your doors and close your windows and be ready and prepared for warfare. Or at least you will keep a distance. Why? That's your enemy. So Shaitan he's our enemy. How often do Muslims invite him over to their houses? In how many forms does Shaitan appear in our homes? Because I'm usually right in your face kind of guy, you know? And some people like it, some people don't like it. They like it mellow and pampering, and it's okay, no problem, it's all halal. As long as you're having fun, salam alaikum wa alaikum salam. I don't like that stuff. Too much sugarcoating. Too much compromise. Everybody trying to make everybody happy. Politics is not politics. Politics sometimes is good, and very often it's evil. Sometimes you have to be straightforward. To wake up. To wake up. Now after you wake up, you can be upset with the one who woke you up. But at least you will pray Fajr. Just like every day. How often does a man get upset with his wife for waking him up because he's sleeping? But at the end of the day, he prayed Fajr as virtue. By the virtue of his wife. By Allah's decree, of course. He may hate her, not all the way. Brothers say this is an excuse. He may dislike the fact that she woke him up, but at the end of the day, he has to appreciate that he didn't miss Fajr another day because of his wife. You may hate the one who wakes you up. Understandable. But at least you woke up. Or someone will say, let you sleep. Let him sleep. He's tired. He's been working all night. Let him sleep. And he will sleep. And later you will appreciate, as soon as you wake up, you will appreciate, but then later on, maybe 2 days later, a week later, when you see your iman going down, you will become upset with her. Why don't you wake me up for Fajr? Well, you don't like it. I know I don't like it, but still wake me up. Then you will appreciate later. It's this the way that this life works. So that's why I don't, but still, I don't want to be too much. But the examples some of you can give me on your own about the shayateen which we bring into our homes, and then we wonder why the household is un-Islamic. Why the household is un-Islamic? Because we have brought the shayateen instead of the malaika. Now there are halal things, and there are obligatory things, and there are haram things. The mubah, the things which are allowed, no one is going to dispute. No one's going to dispute you. You like a particular kind of sport which doesn't involve haram, or you like to watch certain things of pertaining to nature or animals, Animal Planet, whatever, as long as there's no haram, no problem. Go ahead. It's mubah. And there are things which are beneficial, like lectures and things pertaining to knowledge and everything, Quran, alhamdulillah, that could be obligatory at some point. And there are the haram things which we just have to leave alone. We have to leave alone. Why? Because too much exposure to this will cause the heart to die. And when the heart dies, you will hear, but you will not hear. Is this the way it works? It's very simple, yet very difficult. Simple in understanding, difficult in implementing. There's a lot of challenge involved in it. But then again, that's exactly how you earn something. All of you, or some of you are students, correct? Is it possible that you don't come to class, you don't pay the tuition, you don't buy the books, you don't pay attention to the professors, you don't do your homework? Is it possible that you will pass? You will graduate? It's possible if your uncle is the president. It is possible, huh? But it's a bad thing. Or if you bribe, huh? Here's some money on the side. Step in for me, barakallah feek. Let's get going. I need to get a job. People do all kinds of funny stuff to get by. But in reality, you will not pass. Even if you got a degree and you became a doctor, your first patient is your first victim. It happens too. Why? Unqualified. Why? You were playing. You had fun, you were listening to music, going to the parties, staying up all night, smoking drugs, drinking, whatever, hanging out with the ladies. Yeah, very good. But then when it comes for final exams, you would have failed. Or the intelligent person will do the opposite. So let me pay the tuition on time, attend the classes, buy the books, pay attention, suffer. and put 10 lines under the word suffer. Suffer for 4, 5, 6 years, however long it takes for you to finish your education, and then you get to relax. After you earn, your degree and you become a qualified person and you get a good job, then you don't have to put as much effort now into your livelihood and survival as you had to do as a student. It's a natural occurrence. You have to struggle and strive in order to earn something. And this is the same way we have to enter paradise. You and I cannot possibly enter paradise without going through the struggle. The reason why we often don't go through the struggle is because we have misunderstood life. Or we have misunderstood Islam in our lives. When you speak to the Muslims, it's not the same as when you speak to the non-Muslims. When you speak to the Muslims, you have to tell them this life is a prison. Prison, jail. What do you do in prison and jail? Is there a 5-star jail? No, there is, by the way, for very rich people. But that's not the standard. Jail, is it a lovely place? Would anyone like to go to prison for a few years? No. If we just ask any volunteers, any brothers and sisters like to go to jail for 2 years, do you think anyone would raise their hand? No way. Why? What is the main defect in the jail? Restriction. It restricts your freedom. You will still eat. Don't they feed you in jail? They do. They have meals. Do they have maybe a machine for a gym for exercising? They do. That's why everybody most people who go to gym come out as bodybuilders. You wonder what they're doing there. Do they have a library? They do. People can read and learn. People can actually finish their schooling in jail. Can they see their family members? Sure. Some jails allow weekly visitations or monthly visitations and so on and so forth. Can they speak to other people? Sure they can. But everything is what? Restricted. Everything is restricted. You feel there's still something missing. You still look through the bars and you see people outside driving their cars and going about their business, and you feel that you cannot enjoy what they are enjoying. That is the main objective of the jail. Even though you get some goodies, it's not enough for you to feel free. You are imprisoned. And this is how our deen is in this dunya. There's just enough for you to live. Plenty of halal that Allah Azza wa Jalla allowed us to enjoy. And some things which Allah made restricted and forbidden. We have to understand that we have to refrain from these issues in order to be able to gain, in order to get the freedom later on. So you go on parole. You leave early. The dunya, as the hadith says, ad-dunya sijnul mu'min. This dunya is a prison for the believer. You cannot enjoy it all. Not yet. وَجَنَّةُ الْكَافِرِ. And it is a jannah for the disbeliever. Is that true or not? It's true. For the one who doesn't believe in the last day, in accountability, in hell and heaven, anything they like, they do. The only reason which may prevent them sometimes is being ashamed of their environment. Being worried about what the people will say about them. If they were to be in a place where no one can see them, they will do anything that will make them happy. And some people live like this anyways. Some people live like this anyways. That's why, in New York, when the electricity went out for a couple of days, the rich people robbed all the stores. Why? No police. Do you think they haven't been robbing the stores this whole time because of their morality? No. Because they're afraid they will be caught. Once there was no lights and no police, everything was robbed. Because for the disbeliever, yallah, anything goes and everything goes as long as I'm having fun. And we see this in their lives. We cannot live like that. If we live like that, then it doesn't apply. Being a believer doesn't apply to us anymore. But there's a wisdom behind it, and that wisdom is portrayed in a beautiful story. al-Asqalani, rahimahullah. Ibn Hajar is the one who did the tafsir of Sahih Bukhari, Fath al-Bari. He's an amazing scholar. And basically there's an incident that is related to us about him in regards to this particular hadith. He used to be the qadi of his town. He was the judge. And the judge until now was held in high esteem among the people. The judge is the big sheikh basically, not any sheikh, because he knows so much. And he judges between the people and so on and so forth, the hukuk and the dam and the soul, the blood and things pertaining to that big position, the qadi. And their salary is fat, by the way. Judges make more money than most doctors, just in case you didn't know. I'm not trying to encourage you to become a judge to become rich, but hey, at least, you know, if you're serving the Muslims and your niyyah is sincere, alhamdulillah, it's one good career for someone. But you have to be very knowledgeable, very knowledgeable. And when he was a judge during his time, and of course he has a VIP treatment. So he had this horse with carriage and everything. He was on, and there was a Jewish person who was in oil, who would sell oil, you know, for eating, so like olive oil and stuff like that. And obviously the person who's selling food items would often have stains on his clothing from the food that he sells. So while Ibn Hajar was riding his fancy horses, all dressed nice and clean and everything, and this Jewish man, he looked exactly the opposite. He was all looking lousy and clothes are dirty and his hair is disheveled. This is because he had hair. And so on and so forth. So they looked at each other, and the Jewish man said to Ibn Hajar, he said, your messenger, according to you, your messenger said that this dunya, this worldly life, is a prison for the believer, and it's a paradise for the disbeliever. But look at you and me. It looks like it is a paradise for you. You're looking nice and dressing nice with the nice horses, and I am the one who is what? Suffering. So he tried to twist the facts by saying, I'm living a worse life than you are, therefore your messenger is lying. Your messenger said, this worldly life should be a paradise for me. It doesn't look like I'm in paradise. I got all these stains on my clothes, and it's supposed to be a prison for you, and you look like you're GQ, you know, dressed up and nice and everything. What's going on here? So what did Ibn Hajar say? He said, what you see me in now, compared to what Allah has prepared for the believer in the life to come, is a prison. And what you are in right now, compared to the punishment Allah prepared for the disbelievers in the life to come, is a paradise. And so that Jewish man, they say, had nothing to say but Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, because it's true. Alayhi salatu salam. He was enjoying halal. No one is going to stop you from enjoying halal. In fact, some of these things Allah loves. When He gives you bounties, He loves to see the effect of His bounty upon you. Allah loves that. And Ibn Hajar was in a position where he could enjoy that. So it was like, still, there are so many haram things which Ibn Hajar left alone, which Ibn Hajar was not indulging in. Therefore, it was still a prison for him. As for the Jewish man, it was just the nature of his job. But how many haram things was he involved in? Allah knows, you know. The Jews, they eat riba. They eat big time, zuhd, then Allah called it, in huge amounts. So the punishment in the life to come, compared to you having, what is better or what is worse? To have some clothes with some stains on them, or to be dipped in Jahannam for eternity? Which is worse? Any day you will say, give me the clothes with the stains, but keep me away from Jahannam. So this is the understanding which we have to bring to mind. This is the difference between the Muslims and others. You and I have to know that part of our religion, part of our identity as Muslims, is that we refrain, abstain from so many things which we see around us all over the place. And I know for the sisters, this could be way more difficult than us the brothers. For the brothers, it's easier, wallahi. In so many regards, it's easier. For the sisters, it's worse. Because the women, by nature, they love to display themselves. It's a natural thing, no one can blame her for it. And what she sees outside from others, what they wear, of course, when she sees another lady showing more skin and showing her makeup and her jewelry, the sister also feels that she would like to show the same, or even better than her. But they have a bigger challenge, that they are told to cover themselves up. So it's a challenge for the sisters, but for the sisters, when you see yourself in this predicament, Think about the life to come. Just imagine yourself in Jannah with your own servants bringing you, halal wine and all kinds of pleasures which no eye has ever seen, no ear has ever heard, and has never come across a human person. And imagine that lady being dipped in the hellfire, burning and toasting, no one to take her out. You will quickly say, forget about her. I'm better off with my hijab. And then when I go to paradise, no one is going to restrict anything. No one will enter paradise with any kind of agony, any kind of pain, any kind of stress at all. Before Muslims enter paradise, they will be cleansed from envy, from jealousy, from worry, from anxiety. No such things. No way on earth. You will go to Jannah and say, oh, but only if, and I wish that. No such thing. Even if you're at the lowest level of paradise, you will feel that you are on top. You are number one. Each person will feel that they are in the perfect condition they're supposed to be in. So that's what is waiting for the believers in paradise. So we have to deal with this temptation. We have to avoid this temptation. And I've been here, today is the 21st of February. I've been here since the 7th of February. So I've seen plenty already. And my in-laws took me all over Manila, basically. And either other places, even other places. I saw plenty. And my intention, one of my intentions was I want to see what you go through here. Because each person coming from their own country have a whole other experience. It's not the same. It's not the same. Living in Saudi is not the same as living elsewhere. No matter how wild a woman wants to get over there, she can only get wild in her abaya. She can try to show something through the abaya and wear something funky in her feet, or do something out, somewhere here in the front, but she has all these restrictions. She cannot just go out there bare. Alhamdulillah. We're happy about that. But here, you don't have this privilege. Obviously, you don't. You see all kinds of stuff. And it's crowded, so there's a lot of close, proximity between the male and the female. Whether you're on a jeepney or, some other public transportation, obviously everything goes. People are crowded. So that creates a bigger conflict for both the male and the female. So I was trying to observe the environment to see the struggle that the Muslims in the Philippines have to go through, or in Manila particularly, to survive. And I realized that it's not easy, but it's doable. Because I've seen worse. I've seen worse. You don't have it that bad here. Honestly. There are some countries where it's technically impossible to live. Here, alhamdulillah, there is an outlet. But for things to get better, you have to work together as a community. There has to be righteousness. There has to be a mutual agreement amongst all of you that your leader and your guide will be the Quran and the Sunnah. Not Fulan and this person and that person and this organization, and we go into this very serious division where each one has to have their own way. They follow this method and they follow that method, and there's a disagreement, and the end result is this unity, and this unity leads to no progress for the Muslims, so you remain in the same predicament. But the obligation which you all have is towards the people around you. We have to think about the people around us. How to be the best Muslims, to bring the most number of people to Islam, so we can turn this place into an Islamic state again. Not through acts of violence, not through hurting others, not through misbehavior. This was not the way of the Prophet ﷺ. And this is not a war zone. It is through the character of the Prophet ﷺ, the way you portray yourself, the way you act, the impression you leave. It has to be positive. And the only yardstick we have is from our relatives. From our relatives who are non-Muslim, these are the people who tell us what their impression of the Muslims are. And we have to leave a positive impression on the people around us. This is mandatory on each one of us. That cannot be achieved if we don't have the proper understanding and the soundness of the heart. That cannot be achieved until we begin with ourselves in order to correct those who are around us. Now, no one is perfect. No one is perfect. Whether the speaker or the audience, everyone has his own set of problems which only Allah knows about. And alhamdulillah, that it's only Allah who knows about. But also, we have repentance and seeking forgiveness which are obligatory to wipe out the previous errors and mistakes which we have committed. But it's a very dynamic journey to Allah. It will be full of ups and downs and struggles, good days and bad days, good efforts in da'wah, not so good or horrible, depending on your encounter. Sometimes you try to represent Islam and you misrepresent Islam, or you are in a situation where Islam is misrepresented because of one of us. Some efforts have to be made to rectify that. The general concept that the people have about Muslims here, you tell me, I don't know. I've heard something, but I'm not going to believe until I hear from you. The general concept of the people here about Muslims is positive or negative? It's generally negative. Due to what? Many reasons. One of them is what we know for a fact. That Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَلَن تَرْضَى عَنْكَ الْيَهُودُ وَلَا النَّصَارَى حَتَّى تَتَّبِعَ مِلَّتَهُم. Never ever will the Jews and the Christians be pleased with you until you follow their religion. That we understand. We cannot expect that they will open their arms and bring us in and be happy with us until you say, okay, I'm willing to follow your religion. Then they will come. Then they will agree with you. As long as you want to become a Muslim, there's a conflict, end of discussion. That's on the one hand. That's done with. We don't deny that. But remember, when Allah Azza wa Jalla revealed this ayah, were there non-Muslims coming to Islam? Yes. وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. People are entering into Islam in multitudes and groups of people. Until now. In Saudi, the biggest number of reverts without any competition is the Filipinos. Are the Filipinos. No competition. On daily basis, I would assume on daily basis around 25 to 30 people kingdom-wide become Muslim. How many of them remain Muslims? Allahu A'lam. That's another concern. Because they become Muslim in an environment that supports Islam, when they come here, they are pressured by their family members and their peers and so on and so forth. Some are strong enough to maintain, and some give up. They say, I'll go back to Christianity, this is too much of a headache. I'm unable to deal with it. Not everyone remains a Muslim. But at the end of the day, many people until today become Muslim. So how do we understand that this ayah? Or how do we understand this impression that we're leaving? That means that among the Jews and the Christians will be those who will never be happy with you no matter what you do. The problem is not with you, the problem is with them. But there's another group of people who are not that hardcore, who are more lenient, more soft, and those are the ones who usually come to Islam. Those are the ones which sometimes we fail in representing Islam to them properly. And these are the ones which we should focus on the most. This cannot happen without self-rectification. And it cannot happen without a form of unity. Unity means that we agree about the principles of our religion which can never be compromised. There's no other kind of unity. Any unity which says, I give up my principles and you give up your principles so we can come together is not unity, it's chaos. Which is what many people try to do today. It doesn't matter from which background you are and what methodology you follow and what aqidah you have. It doesn't matter. It's all good. Let's just come together. It does not work. It never worked. It will never work. Because this is not unity. This is chaos. It's just bodies, physical beings coming together. But the hearts can never come together. The other extreme is people who want to be 100% aligned with every in terms of the minor issues of the deen. You cannot. There would be until today someone who believes that the one who doesn't pray is a disbeliever, while another one follows the position that the one who doesn't pray is a believer, but he's evil. And some say who covering the face is obligatory, and some say covering the face is recommended, it's not obligatory. And the list goes on of issues in our deen where there are difference of opinions, legitimate difference of opinions, and you cannot expect everyone to be 100% with you for you to work with them. So there must be an agreement upon the principles and some wisdom when it comes to the issues where Islam has some room. You have to keep that room available. But then there has to be a joint effort on your part. Specifically, the younger generation who are still in school and still learning and so on and so forth, they have not yet graduated. You are in a very, very key position. And I'm telling you this based on my personal experience in Malaysia. How far is Malaysia from here? Not too far, right? In Malaysia, on yearly basis, they have this Discover Islam Week in Nottingham University. Nottingham University is almost like a strip club. You know a strip club? I guess you don't. That's good. I hope you don't have any in the Philippines. A strip club is where women dance naked on the stage with a pole. You know the strip clubs. At least you must have seen them in Jahiliyyah. That university is a strip club. Almost every woman has one objective when she goes to school, to be naked. How? They differ. How naked they get, it differs from one to another. How funky they get in their nakedness, it differs from one to another. But their main objective is hunting. They're there to hunt for men, not to learn. I doubt any one of them learns anything with the clothes that they wear. It's the most wicked environment I've ever seen in a school. It's supposed to be a school. Yet, in this very evil environment, the brothers and sisters over there manage on a yearly basis, and they're just a group of students, to organize an event where they bring people from outside and so on and so forth, and even if they didn't bring anyone, they managed to have this event, Discover Islam Week, and bring awareness and install a booth in the middle of the university, and people give them pamphlets and booklets and DVDs and CDs and make big lectures, invite everyone, something really extraordinary. And the fruits by Allah's grace have been very good. Very good. It's a much worse environment, but they have taken it upon themselves. And Allah Azza wa Jal is the facilitator. You know, Allah brings facilitation from places you do not expect. Don't go calculating too much and worrying, it's all in Allah's hands. But the effort and the concern has to be there. But there has to be this form of unity amongst ourselves. We have to think in this manner. So again, not to disconnect, which I have already done, but I believe personally, I may be wrong, I believe da'wah or lecturing in general, and you can agree or disagree, I don't know if you do get involved in lecturing, should not be that you are like a machine. A machine who's monotone, and that's it, I will only discuss this, I will not drift off the subject and so on and so forth, because sometimes what you say that you did not prepare for is better than what you say what you prepared for. Because it's supposed to be as the initial title, from the heart to the heart, right? Which began from the ear to the heart, which is fine. But it's supposed to be from the heart to the heart. So what comes from the heart is the most genuine. Anything else is just ay kalam, as they say in Saudi. Just any speech. But the most important thing is what is relating to us. So I'm basing this on my very humble, short stay here, and what I have personally seen and experienced from current affairs. That number one, just to summarize, number one, there has to be, each one of us has to work on him or herself. And we have to learn this deen according to the understanding of the Sahaba of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Those who attend the khutbah understand why. Those who attend the khutbah understand why. Because today, and I will briefly explain for those who couldn't come for the khutbah, today we have so many types of Islam, it's crazy. It is almost insane. It's almost unbelievable how many different types of Islam people have, and they have websites, and they have material which is printed, and they have leaders, and they have so on and so forth, and their own. Like the video we saw earlier. You saw the video earlier. And that sickness which is spreading here in the Philippines now, of Rawafid and Shiism. We see how many modes of Islam people try to invite you. You escape from them, you find another group. Say, come to us. We are the right. We are upon the right path. You escape from the second, you have a third one, and fourth one, and fifth one. And as the hadith said, there will be 73 sects. And the ulama understand these are 73 main sects. From each one there will be other sub-denominations. So it could be hundreds of people, as the hadith said, at the head, at the front of each one of these shortcuts is shaytanun yad'u ilayh. There will be a shaitan calling you to himself or to his path. He will tell you to abandon the path of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and come to these other shortcuts, many other shortcuts on the way. Come with us. So you become confused. So you have modern Islam. One of the biggest movements today is a modernized, watered down version of Islam where everything is halal. Well, you really don't have to do much. You know, you just have to be very eloquent and very much politically correct and you're good to go. And this is today propagated by many institutions, organizations on a very high level where a lot of money is involved and so on and so forth. And I don't want to mention names because that defeats the purpose of my lecture. But those who understand, understand. You have to be very careful nowadays because you can easily fall into this trap. And next thing you know, the only thing that is left of Islam in your life is your name. And even your name may be changed if necessary. So you go from Muhammad to Mo. Mo? No, I don't want no Mo. Keep the Mo to yourself. You will be nothing. Islam, don't worry. Everything is okay in Islam, everything is halal in Islam, this is okay and that is okay, then you keep following this trap of concessions, rukhas, it's okay, this one. Some scholars, I don't know where he is from and when he was born, but some sheikh said some time ago that it's halal. So now it's a fatwa that is across the board, now everybody can enjoy the halal fatwa of Maulana, we don't know who. That's a very big movement today. You have to avoid it. And the other movement is the one we saw in the video, you have to avoid it. And then the other one is that of the mystics. The mystics where dancing is involved and all kinds of celebrations which are not part of Islam, and the dhikr of Allah which is not according to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, whether it is done in congregation or in unity or by shaking the heads and doing all kinds of stuff, that's another thing you have to escape from. Then you have within the people who are upon the sunnah extremists. Whom if you did not study under that person who they like, then you can never be upon the sunnah. Disqualified, ala tul. You have to go through this one person, which is just like other extremists who say you have to get tariqah from this fulan, the sheikh taught it to this student, and the tariqah to this student, then he's of Naqshbandi tariqah now, he's the official representative of the tariqah. You have to go through the silsila. It's the same methodology but different shuyukh now. So you find yourself in a very difficult position. But Allah Azza wa Jal has made it very easy. Do you think the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who explained to the people how to use the bathroom, he taught the Muslims which hand to use, and how many times to clean themselves, and how to clean themselves, and in which direction they can be, and which direction they cannot be? Do you think he will leave alone telling us how to make it to Jannah on that straight path? Impossible. If he made the tiny intricate details clear, he made the bigger picture much clearer. But some of us don't want to see. We don't want to see. Otherwise it's clear like I'm looking at this path in between these two lines right now. The way of the Sahaba. Peace of mind. The understanding of the Sahaba, peace of mind. Anyone who tries to bring something new into Islam, say, show me the evidence that the Sahaba understood it like you understand it now, and they applied it like you are you later. I'm not having it. And trust me, if what they're saying is true, they will be able to bring you the evidence from the Sahaba. Because they had a full understanding of this deen and they applied it in the ultimate sense. And in case the Sahaba didn't, the generation who came after the Tabi'een did. And in case they didn't, then the one who came after did. And those three, the Prophet ﷺ said, the best of mankind, the best of all of human beings from the time of Adam until the last day are those three generations. The Sahaba and the Tabi'een and Atba'u Tabi'een. That's it. Condensed into 300 years. Then from those, we have many people following them until today on the very path they were upon, and they will remain like this until Yawm al-Qiyamah. Our job is to join them. They don't have one website. They don't have one sheikh. They don't have one way. One way to paradise, of course, that's an exception to the rule. It's a general thing. It's the mashayikh, it's the ulama, it's the scholars. A whole body of them. We have to connect with these scholars. That's why when you see from among you here a student of knowledge who's learning the deen, who's going, studying abroad from reliable institutions, you should carry him on your head. Not literally. Not by bluffing and trying to make it worse for him by praising him in his face. Forget about that. You're ruining him like that. You will ruin him. Don't say words of praise, but support him in all possible ways. Because that person may be the light for the whole community. Without that person, people will get confused. We have many barriers. Language barriers. There's a lot of material in Arabic. How many people understand Arabic to have access to this material? Only if there's one student of knowledge who is fluent in Arabic and fluent in Tagalog, and then he understands Islam properly, he will be able to properly translate the material to you. If any one of these elements is missing, we have a problem. Either that student of knowledge doesn't exist, that's a disaster. Or the student of knowledge exists, but he's not fluent in Arabic, that's a disaster. Obviously, he will be fluent in Tagalog, that's already taken out. Or he doesn't have the proper understanding, so he will mistranslate the material, as we see today. Mistranslate the words, mistranslate the quotations. Then we have a problem. So that shows you the importance of knowledge. And knowledge from the right sources. The good news we have is that Allah promised that this deen will be preserved, and this deen is preserved through the Quran and the Sunnah. Therefore, the Quran and the Sunnah will be preserved. All we have to do is find them and apply them according to the understanding of the righteous predecessors. And all of these ingredients are available for the perfect meal. Alhamdulillah. Allah has made it that easy for the Muslims. And today, it's easier than ever before. Before, one sheikh would have to travel from one country to another on the other side of the world, on a camel or a horse or a donkey for weeks and months to write one hadith from the Prophet ﷺ. And sometimes when he would arrive at his destination and he finds that the person whom he wanted to narrate the hadith from is wicked or is not as righteous, he will no longer take the hadith from him anyways. Even his whole project will be dropped because of the person whom he's supposed to learn from. He finds him to be not a righteous Muslim. Nowadays, does any one of you have to travel anywhere to get any hadith? No. We have phones and internet and all kinds of resources that are digital, that alhamdulillah knowledge is readily available. You want to listen to MP3, you can. You want to watch an MP4, you can. You want to read it in a book, you can. However you like it, it's available. Subhanallah, very easy. Even verifying a hadith, very easy. Once you know Arabic, there are dedicated websites where you can put the wording of the hadith and then it will tell you who narrated this hadith and who authenticated it from the ulama of hadith. Like the website durar.net, DORAR.net. Amazing website. Mawsu'a, complete. You put any hadith, it will tell you the grade of this hadith, authentic or inauthentic. Alhamdulillah, things have become easy. But we have to make the effort. So, learning the deen, according to the understanding of the Sahaba, coming together as students, as organizations, upon that understanding and that unity, without compromising the principles of our deen, then once you have done all of that, do not worry about anything else. Finance and logistics and this and that, Allah will provide. Allah will provide to aid His deen. It's for Allah. We're only the tools whom Allah uses. But it's for Allah. لِكَلِمَةُ لِتَكُونْ هِيَ الْعُلْيَا. So that the word of Allah will be the most supreme. Allah will provide. And if Allah decrees that we don't have a provision, we did our job. Alhamdulillah, we did our part which we are capable of, and that part Allah decreed that is not facilitated, خَيْرٌ لَنَا. There's goodness in that as well. Allah decreed that it doesn't materialize for some goodness which we don't know about. So these are the principles which I invite myself and you to act upon, inshallah ta'ala, so that we can see prosperity, so that next time around, when a person comes to Manila or to somewhere in the Philippines, he finds himself in an Islamic environment to a large extent. It's a very lengthy process, but it's doable. Because remember the origin of this place, and remember the neighboring countries. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. But it begins with people like you. People who have concern. People who have care. Who have love for the da'wah. They're still young. So they have the ability and the energy to sacrifice. It is with you that the Islam will see the light in this country. So I hope inshallah ta'ala that you will strive in this regard. Ask Allah to help us all. Do that which is pleasing to Him. هذا والله أعلم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد. I was supposed to end maybe later in order to pray Asr and then have the Q&A afterwards. But maybe we can start with the Q&A now.